Summary of All Your Worth. The Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan, written by Elizabeth Warren and Amelia Warren Tyagi. Summarized by Detailed Book Summaries. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, you are welcome. Chapter 1. The Foundation of Balance. Escaping the Trap of Financial Stress. The book begins by exploring why so many hardworking people still feel trapped in money worries despite earning decent incomes. Warren and Tyagi reveal a key truth. Financial stress is not just about how much you earn, but how your money is divided and used. People often live paycheck to paycheck because their finances are out of balance. Some spend too much on wants. Others are overwhelmed by musts like rent or debt, and many neglect their savings entirely. The authors argue that financial peace doesn't come from perfection or strict deprivation. It comes from achieving balance. This balance is represented through three categories: must-haves, wants, and savings. The idea is simple but powerful. Your financial life will only flourish when these three parts exist in harmony. If your musts, like housing, utilities, insurance, and debt payments, eat up more than half of your income, you'll feel suffocated. If your wants, dining out, entertainment, or luxury purchases dominate, you'll have fun now but struggle later. And if your savings are non-existent, your future will always feel uncertain. The authors urge readers to start seeing their money not as something to chase or fear, but as a tool for balance and choice. This chapter reframes budgeting from being a punishment to being a pathway to freedom. It's not about cutting every expense, but learning how to align your spending with your values and long-term goals. Chapter 2. The 50-30-20 Rule, a blueprint for financial freedom. Here, Warren and Tyagi introduce the core of their money philosophy. The 50-30-20 Rule. It's a budgeting formula that simplifies how you should manage your income. 50% for must-haves. These are the essentials you truly need: rent or mortgage, basic groceries, health insurance, car payments, and minimum debt obligations. The rule insists that your must-haves shouldn't exceed half of your take-home pay. This cap ensures you always have breathing room. 30% for wants. Life isn't meant to be lived on deprivation. This category allows for fun, comfort, and small luxuries: travel, dining, hobbies, or streaming subscriptions. By consciously allocating 30%, you enjoy life without guilt. 20% for savings and debt repayment. The last portion goes toward securing your financial future, paying off high-interest debts, saving for emergencies, and investing for long-term goals like retirement. The brilliance of this rule lies in its simplicity. Unlike complicated spreadsheets or endless expense tracking, this formula gives you a clear boundary to maintain equilibrium. The authors emphasize that this plan is not about obsessing over every penny, but creating a framework that works automatically over time. Once you hit these ratios, you're free to live, not constantly calculate. They also debunk myths about money. such as the belief that only high earners can save. According to them, even modest earners can build wealth if they manage their money with structure and patience. Balance, not income, is the key to long-term financial peace. Chapter 3: Breaking Free from the Must-Have Trap. In this chapter, the authors confront the hardest financial challenge for most people: the domination of must-haves. Many find that their rent, bills, insurance, and debt obligations swallow up nearly all their income, leaving little room for fun or savings. Warren and Tyagi call this the must-have trap. They explain how modern lifestyles, rising costs, and social pressures push people into overcommitting financially, buying homes they can't afford, taking on car loans that stretch their budgets, or signing up for multiple insurances out of fear. The result is a life of financial tension, where one job loss or medical emergency can trigger a downward spiral. To break free, the authors advise readers to make bold but thoughtful decisions. Consider downsizing, refinancing loans, renegotiating bills, or even rethinking lifestyle choices. They emphasize that small adjustments add up. For instance, lowering your rent or reducing transportation costs could instantly bring your must-haves closer to the 50% mark, unlocking freedom you didn't realize was possible. The emotional core of this chapter lies in recognizing that your musts should serve your life, not dictate it. The moment you regain control of this category, you begin to feel financially lighter, less anxious, more flexible, and more hopeful. Chapter 4: Reclaiming Joy, Spending on What Truly Matters. After tackling the essentials, the authors shift focus to wants, often seen as the enemy in traditional finance books. But Warren and Tyagi take a different stance. Responsible enjoyment is vital. They believe joy and financial security can coexist as long as you're intentional about it. They encourage readers to identify what truly brings happiness and fulfillment, instead of spending out of habit or social influence. For some, it may be travel; for others, a hobby or family time. The key is mindful spending, choosing experiences or possessions that genuinely enrich your life. The authors share stories of people who found greater satisfaction by simplifying. One woman, for instance, stopped dining out every week, but started taking one memorable trip a year and felt richer than ever. This chapter blends psychology with finance, showing how emotional satisfaction comes not from spending more, but from spending better. Moreover, Warren and Tyagi explain how guilt-free enjoyment can actually strengthen your financial discipline. When you know 30% of your income is set aside for fun, you no longer feel deprived. That satisfaction prevents burnout and impulsive splurges, keeping you consistent with your plan. In essence, balance makes joy sustainable. Chapter 5: Securing the Future, the Power of Saving and Simplicity. The final chapter brings everything together with a deep dive into the 20%, savings, debt repayment, and investment. Warren and Tyagi emphasize that this category is the foundation of long-term security. Building savings is not just about accumulating wealth, it's about creating peace of mind. They introduce the concept of the emergency fund, a cushion that shields you from unexpected shocks like job loss or illness. They recommend starting small, even if it's just a few dollars per week, and gradually growing it into a safety net worth 3 to 6 months of expenses. Next, they tackle debt, particularly high-interest credit card debt, which they call the financial cancer of modern times. The authors advise prioritizing its repayment before any major investments. Once debt is under control, you can shift focus to growing wealth through retirement accounts, index funds, or other stable investments. This chapter also redefines the meaning of wealth. True wealth, according to Warren and Tyagi, is not just having more money, it's having options. It's the ability to make choices based on values, not desperation. When your finances are balanced, you gain control over your time, your career, and your future. The book closes with an uplifting reminder. Financial success is not about luck or genius. It's about balance, awareness, and persistence. When you follow the 50-30-20 framework and keep your money aligned with your goals, you don't just build wealth, you build a life of stability, confidence, and joy. In conclusion, All Your Worth isn't just a budgeting manual, it's a philosophy for living well. Elizabeth Warren and Amelia Warren Tyagi show that the ultimate money plan is not built on endless sacrifice or financial obsession, but on balance, a balance that allows you to enjoy today, protect tomorrow, and find peace in both. Through practical steps and relatable stories, the book teaches that financial control is not about perfection. It's about freedom, simplicity, and harmony.